What's up, guys? Chase Oliver here, bringing you my Impact Wrestling review for August 27th, 2014. Let's get started with this. You know, I felt Impact Wrestling this week had a slow start with, especially the opening. The opening segment, I like when they do this with Kurt Angle. He's with the people. He announces the matches ahead of time. He announces what we're going to see on Impact. That's cool for me because at least I know, like, hey, this is what I'm going to expect on the episode of Impact Wrestling here tonight. So that's always cool for me. But afterwards, when he was about to talk about the #1 contendership, out comes MVP Lashley and Kenny King. And I'm fine with the world champion being featured on your show. I get it. But it's like, really, it makes Lashley feel so important when we don't have to show him every single week. I know a lot of people feel like in today's wrestling, you need to feature your world champion every segment. But I feel with Lashley, you don't need to feature this dude every segment. It's good when you kind of feature him as like an ominous presence, like, oh, the world champion shows up when he wants to show up. And you know, MVP running his mouth, I just felt it went way too long. And then out came Tommy Dreamer, which I said, why? Why is Dreamer still around? I thought he was done after the whole Dixie Carter stuff. Why is Dreamer still around? And what is TNA trying to do with, you know, every wrestler? So far, with every promo that I have seen with Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Kenny King, since Lashley's been TNA champion, it seems like TNA is trying to tease in the future they want to turn Lashley into a babyface. Because every wrestler that has come out and been like, hey, Bobby, you don't need these two goons. You don't need MVP and Kenny King. MVP is just using you. MVP truly wants to be a world champion. I'm like, what are they trying to set up here with Bobby Lashley? How come they bring that up every week? And anytime the babyface is about to make a point, Kenny King goes and attacks the dude anyways. I was just like, it is what it is. And then, you know, the New York street fight between Lashley and Tommy Dreamer, I guess it was okay. I don't feel like it helped Lashley establish some heel heat on him, that's for sure. I mean, Lashley's already a heel. You know, a lot of people just don't like Lashley in general. A lot of people don't like how dominant he is. He's already a good heel. He doesn't need any more establishing of heel heat. It's fine if you treat him like a special attraction type of dude. I'm fine with how they use Lashley. I just didn't feel like Lashley needed a match this week on Impact. I just felt the opening of Impact this week didn't really get me too excited for the show heading into it. Before I continue talking about the matches, I want to talk about one thing that bugged me watching this episode of Impact was they were using promo segments throughout the night, which I'm fine with. I am cool with backstage promo segments to build up characters and all that. And I was fine with some of the Samuel Shaw stuff that they did. I hated that stupid segment where they were promoting Tinder. But it was like, really? Was Samuel Shaw's promo segments that important to show on this episode that you have to cut out entrances for a lot of your superstars tonight? Hell, the freaking 6-man X Division tag match didn't even show anyone's entrance in here for the knockouts match. Come on. Entrances are important in wrestling. It's a way to familiarize people with these talents. Us TNA fans, we know, okay, Madison Rayne and Taryn Terrell's in the ring. But if you were just someone who checked out TNA for the first time and you don't know any of these superstars, you're just going to be like, the hell is this? Who are these guys? Why are they just in the ring? It just looked tacky to me. I mean, I get it. You want to build up Samuel Shaw's character. Totally understand TNA. But don't sacrifice entrances for promo segments. That's all I got to say. Taryn Terrell and Madison Rayne had a solid match. I just felt it went a little bit too slow. But at least they gave these ladies some time to kind of tell a story. They didn't really tell a story in this match. But they gave these ladies some time, which I got to give TNA props to. But the match was kind of slow. I don't know why Madison Rayne is a heel again. Then she just turned babyface because Brittany attacked her. What happened to Brittany? Like, seriously. Did they already give up on Brittany? Is Brittany just, like, disappearing? Hashtag, where's Brittany? Where is Brittany? Seriously, she's supposed to be a new knockout star, and now she's already, like, gone from the company or something. But the match was, like I said, solid. Taryn Terrell wins. The right person goes over, and so we're going to get Taryn Terrell and Gail Kim next week for the Knockouts title. You know, I don't understand why TNA doesn't save this for one of their stupid special impacts. Like, seriously. Why are we giving away a Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell match just free on TV next week on Impact? I mean, well, yes, it's going to be free on the special impacts, but wouldn't you want to build up those special impacts a little bit more and make people want to actually watch those special impacts and not treat it like it's just a regular old Impact episode? Wouldn't you want to build up matches for that show? I'm just saying, that's just me, but it is what it is. Taryn Terrell versus Gail Kim next week on Impact. Should be an exciting matchup. The X Division 6-man tag was pretty good. I liked it for what it was. It was a nice little time filler for TNA this week. Team Low-Key got to win, and Tigre Uno and Crazy Steve were a part of Team Low-Key. My only problem is with these X Division matches is that, like, it seems like anytime TNA finally gets a pace going with these X Division matches, and they seem like, okay, these are going to be really, really good stuff for TV, they cut them short. Give the X Division guys a little bit more time, TNA. That's all I'm asking for. It's just a little bit more time with the X Division guys. But this was a nice, good six-man tag match and a good time filler for TNA this week. Havoc is debuting next week on TNA, and someone on Twitter told me it's a girl. That kind of surprised me. I thought it was another male superstar, but I guess Havoc's a girl. Well, there's a new knockout I'm looking forward to, I guess. Hopefully she doesn't get dumped to the side like Brittany did. I'm interested to see what they do with Havoc. One thing I loved and absolutely loved about this week on Impact was how they were building up a big match for their next week's show. And not only that, a #1 contenders match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Bobby Roode and Eric Young did tremendous here this week on Impact. Did the promo go a little bit too long? Absolutely. I felt the promo went a little bit too long. But this was tremendous stuff by Impact this week. I cannot deny it. I really liked how they executed with Bobby Roode and Eric Young. I really liked the respect that they showed for one another. I really liked how they went back into their old rivalry in the past. And they said, you know, this is not about, you know, for my contract or for my family. This is about us two wanting to be the best wrestlers in the middle of this ring. Let's go at it. Let's have a great match. And what I like the most about this promo is, like, both men felt equal. Not one man in this promo looked like, oh, he outshined the other. That guy's going to win. Both men felt equal, and they felt deserving of this #1 contender match. They both presented themselves very well. That's one thing that always bugs me when I watch other, you know, wrestling promos. It feels like one guy sometimes goes out there just to outshine the other guy to make himself look good and never make the other guy look good. Bobby Roode and Eric Young made each other look really good, and it makes you excited to see this #1 contenders match next week for Impact. I hope this main event's Impact next week. I really can't stress enough. That should main event Impact next week. Bobby Roode versus Eric Young is your main event next week, Impact. Do not screw the pooch on this one. Make that the main event match. Guaranteed it will be the right executive decision. But knowing TNA, they probably won't have that main event next week on Impact. But other than that, wonderful promo. Honestly, I am just upset that they're trying to extend an EC3 and Rhino feud. Like, really, what is the point of having EC3 feud with Rhino? EC3 should have beaten Rhino here 1, 2, 3 and move on to bigger and better things. But now he's stuck with Rhino. I know a lot of you guys are like, well, this will help EC3. This is a good little feud for EC3. To me, it's just garbage because I think EC3 is one of the better characters TNA has. You know, here was a guy that the WWE gave up on. TNA grabbed him, made him to this really awesome, really good character. And now it's just kind of like, he's just another dude. That's the thing with me. I feel like EC3 has a potential elsewhere on the TNA roster, feuding with another guy in TNA that you could use. Not a Rhino. I don't feel like feuding with Rhino would help him all that much. That's just my personal opinion. The Rhino and EC3 match was kind of whatever. It kind of got thrown away because EC3 got himself disqualified after using the steel chair. But in all honesty, I just wish better for EC3. That's just me. You know, if you're excited for EC3 and Rhino, cool for you. But for me, I'm just like, whatever. The Great Sanada. Oh, this was awesome. To me, at least. I fucking loved it. I'm loving James Storm as a heel, man. This... You know, when James Storm first turned heel earlier in the year, I was just like, I don't know how this is going to work out. Because the thing about James Storm, people, is he's always been a fan favorite with the TNA crowds. That's just pretty much it. He's always been a fan favorite. Even when he was feuding with Chris Harris, the fans loved James Storm more than Chris Harris, man. He was always a fan favorite type of guy for TNA. Even though he was kind of playing, you know, heel for TNA for a long time early on in his career, he was always a fan favorite type of guy. Everyone always loved the Tennessee Cowboy James Storm. But this heel run from his is just perfect. I love this cult leader type of gimmick he's playing, grabbing the Great Sanada, or just Sanada, and making him into the Great Sanada. And this is how you establish a fucking character. This is how you do it. You have Great Sanada come out. He looks totally different than he originally was. Yeah, he may be wearing the same ring gear, but from face expression and everything, totally fucking different. You have him face off against Austin Aries. Austin Aries is someone that, you know, has history with Sanada, so it makes sense. And not only that, Austin Aries is kind of like a big name for your roster right now. You have him beat Austin Aries in a good heel way where it doesn't hurt Aries and it makes the great Sanada look good. And there you go. Here's a good character for you, TNA. Bravo! This was fucking great shit. And I cannot wait to see what more they do with the legend James Storm and the great Sanada. I like feel-good moments in wrestling, and this Chris Melendez stuff was a really good feel-good moment in wrestling. You know, you have Kurt Angle putting him over. You have the Dudleys putting him over. You have Mr. Anderson putting him over, and that's good stuff right there. I really like what they did with Chris Melendez, and I'm going to be interested to see how TNA handles Chris Melendez during his run with TNA, because even though, yes, this is awesome that TNA is giving a guy like Chris Melendez this type of opportunity, and yes, this was a great feel-good moment for wrestling, it all comes down to execution at the end of the day. It may not be Chris Melendez's fault if he doesn't succeed in TNA. It's up to TNA to follow up on this. You know, you may have soldiers at home that may be wanting to follow Chris Melendez. Maybe you caught some people's eyeballs and during one of his promo segments tonight, and they wanted to tune in to see this guy. So TNA, you have something going here with Chris Melendez. You do. Just don't drop the ball with it. You have to execute how this kid's career goes on into the future. So really, to be honest, really did like this segment from Chris Melendez and his introduction into TNA Impact Wrestling. The main event between the Hardys, the Dudleys, and the Wolves, fun stuff. This was a fun way to end off Impact, that's for sure. I had fun watching this matchup. Was this a great tag team matchup? I wouldn't say great. It was a good, fun matchup, though. I had fun watching this main event. This is definitely a match I would suggest to people to check out from Impact this week. This was really fun for match one of the tag team series, and it seems like there's going to be more gimmick matches added to it, so this will definitely be interesting. I was fine with the Wolves taking the loss here. You know, everyone probably was like, oh, how come the Hardys couldn't take the pinfall here? And listen, people, you know, you have to make the Wolves kind of look vulnerable in this situation. You know, they're facing off against two of the best tag teams, you know, in this generation. When you look at the 2000 to 2010 generation of professional wrestling, you know, the Dudleys and the Hardys, they're probably, you know, one of the top 5 teams, if not the top 3 teams, you know, in our generation of tag team wrestling. So really, to be honest, I was fine with the Wolves taking the pinfall here. It brings more vulnerability to the Wolves, and it makes you wonder, will the Wolves be able to come back down from this series and retain their tag team straps to solidify them as the best tag team in wrestling today? So I really liked what they did here. This was a fun matchup. Team 3D picks up the win. Cool with me. Can't wait to see what they do next week with these 3 teams. This was a solid episode of Impact. Not much to complain about this episode, maybe besides EC3 and Rhino continuing on this stupid-ass feud. But other than that, I thought they did some good stuff here tonight. I just felt maybe my entertainment value wasn't really that strong, and I felt the flow of the show wasn't really that good. Like, you know, cutting out entrances, come on, TNA. Those are really important. And, you know, some of the promo segments tonight, especially the backstage promo segments, I thought none of them added to the show whatsoever. That's just me. I was just like, you know, do I really need to see Robbie E and freaking Jesse Goddard play Tinder, you know, trying to find girls in the New York area? Like, really? Is that all that important to show me? I don't think it's that important at all. But other than that, I thought this was a solid episode of Impact. What did you guys think about Impact Wrestling this week? Leave your comments down below what you thought about Impact this week. If you guys like me, hit that subscribe button and give this video a big old thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at ChaseAlbert68. Check out my website, Chilling with Chase. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.